Thank you, Itsuzaku, for a tag. And once again, shouts out to the man Rev. We've got a tweet here, except I can't see it because I'm actually blocked by this person. You are blocked by this redacted username. I gotta tell you guys, I'm so glad that I'm blocked by this person because last thing I wanted to do with my life is to interact with this person on Twitter. So thank you. However, while I'm very thankful to not have to interact with that person over on the Bird app, I do have a job to do here for the wonderful people on YouTube. And I'm very happy to do that job. So let's read the news. Speaking of that, by the way, I want to thank you guys again for all the likes recently. Likes have been going up and subscriber count has been going up too. Glad to have you guys on board and thanks again. Now let's see what this is all about. I wanted to stay out of this, but since it's a needed conversation, then here we go. The anime avatar in and of itself isn't a problem. It's when Western VTubers pick Japanese names and use what they think are kawaii Japanese voices / mannerisms in an effort to appear Japanese. This tweet actually getting 666k views. That's, yeah, that's something. And continuing. That's why it is considered a form of digital yellowface. These interpretations of what Japanese people, especially younger Japanese women, are usually based in hyper-exaggerated ways of talking and speaking in anime that don't reflect actual Japanese people IRL. Oh my gosh, guys. We just witnessed something amazing. We witnessed someone actually come to the realization that their own take is bad, but then they double down on the bad logic. What do I mean by that? I think a lot of you can already tell. The anime aesthetic that VTubers go for, it's supposed to be reminiscent of anime characters, not Japanese people. So this person came so close to realizing that, but then they just doubled down on the like yellow face thing. Yeah, you're so close, but now you just had to go down the crazy rabbit hole. The Looney Tunes. That's what we got going on here. And by the way, of course, some anime characters are actually supposed to be Japanese, and plenty of them aren't though. So let's move on to the next part. I can see, especially as a mixed Japanese whose heritage has been questioned and denied her entire life. LOL, the quote retweets and comments on that one post. Why a lot of Asian diaspora would be upset to see someone cosplaying as being Japanese via an anime avatar. Hey, what do you mean by that one post? You know what? I think I remember. I think this was a tweet this person made like back in 2022. It was something like that, where they were essentially trying to police kimono styles in art or something. And then they got a bunch of responses from people, Japanese people actually living in Japan, who were essentially saying that this person doesn't speak on behalf of Japanese people and that people are welcome to use whatever kimono style they want. That was pretty funny. I think that's what they're referring to. I guess they're still upset about that happening. They brought it up again. All right, back to the take. Because this person is literally cosplaying an ethnicity with their avatar, acting like... No way. I'm not reading this, dude. What is this person... They're unironically saying this as their argument. I'm a Neko VTuber from planet Malades in the no way, dude. You were like, it's so funny. This person just actually unironically typed this and is like mad about this straw man. Like, what the heck? That's the wildest thing I've seen all morning, dude. Holy smokes. Oh my gosh, dude, people on Twitter are crazy. What the heck? Like I said, I'm so glad that I'm not gonna have to interact with this person on Twitter. Ain't gonna catch me having some back and forth tweeting nonsense with this person. I'm just gonna read their take and talk about it here. Let's continue. I've also seen Western VTubers with zero concept of Shinto whatsoever try to have their avatars be Shinto inspired, but their understanding of the concept of divinity is painfully Western, and they just, I don't know, slapped a kitsune on it and called it a day. Well, I actually would not be completely against that argument, but it seems like they're kind of reaching. Like, if they're just calling themselves a kitsune, it's like not that big of a deal. But if they're like actually trying to make their thing Shinto inspired, but they don't know about Shinto, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's kind of weird, but that doesn't really seem like what they're actually talking about. Let's continue. It feels too much like it's accessorizing Japanese culture for views and to be popular, with zero actual respect for it. It's fun. They get to act out their fantasy interpretation of what they think a Japanese girl would be like, all while hiding their real ethnicity. Okay, first of all, what are you, the ethnicity police? You know what that's reminding me of? You know what that probably reminds all of us of? You're trying to police people's ethnicity? You don't want them hiding their ethnicity. You want their papers? Yeah, no, we're not going down that route. The second thing I'd like to point out is how interesting it is that their example is one that seems particularly they're getting upset by VTubers who are women. This is something I pointed out during the Hogwarts Legacy stuff about a month ago, where I said that it's interesting that most of the VTubers being harassed are women VTubers. For some reason, Twitter cops seem to really like going after women and hating on them. It's kind of weird. Let's continue on. So, like, I have no problem with VTubers who want to use Japanese culture in their avatars, but I have a much bigger problem with people who think, oh, yes, Inuyasha is a great source material for my Shrine Maiden VTuber avatar. Don't actually understand Shinto, stuff like that. Okay, well, look, once again, I will repeat what I said a moment ago. So, Rin, if you're watching this video by any chance, I agree with you on that part, okay? You're saying the thing that bothers you the most, apparently, is the Shinto thing. I can understand why that would be annoying. I can completely understand that. So, I agree with you on that. The caveat is, though, your prior example was like someone calling themselves a kitsune. That's too much of a reach for me. I'm not gonna agree with you if that's the only example. But if you have examples of some VTuber who's like going to the nines, so to speak, trying to be like some Shinto VTuber, and they don't know anything about Shinto, yeah, I'll agree with you. Probably not a good approach. But, let's not reach, though, okay? Okay, continuing. This is an area where I strongly encourage VTubers to consult actual Japanese people before creating their avatars. There are English-speaking Japanese and mixed Japanese, myself included, available as sensitivity readers. Please consult someone. Okay, look, I'm going to try to be respectful. If you ever find a Japanese person living in Japan who refers to themselves as a sensitivity reader, first of all, go to 7-Eleven and buy a lottery ticket, because you'll probably win. Second of all, if you actually somehow do find a Japanese person living in Japan who refers to themselves as a sensitivity reader, you may have just found a very unfortunate victim of Western colonialization. Very sad stuff. The final two tweets, let's take a look. It's also not necessary to litter your speech with bad Japanese in efforts to sound... Why does this person unironically type stuff like this for their argument? It's like the weirdest thing. Dude, what? The only person unironically saying this stuff is the OP. You don't need to act Japanese for views/engagement. I'm sure if you have a cute enough personality, it'll shine on its own. You know what? I'll give Rin credit for that too. At least they're ending it with like a positive, kind thing there, I suppose. And finally they say, so yeah, you're welcome to disagree with this, but that's the argument in a nutshell. Take it or leave it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. By the way, that entire take is really unoriginal too. Like, we've seen takes like that before, especially over the last month or two. It's been ramping up. I talked about a similar take actually, like the other week, where this person was saying the weirdest stuff about anime fans. Like, literally their argument was out of the bizarro world or something. It's like they ain't even living in reality. They just strawmanned a bunch of weird stuff and then complained about like weebs liking anime and VTubers or something. And it's totally fine if you don't like VTubers. No issue with that at all. It's just some of these tweets that go kind of viral on Twitter. They're like the weirdest, most extreme takes about it all. And it's just hilarious. And almost every single time some weirdo Westerner, some Twitter cop, makes some tweet trying to police people on like stuff happening in Japan, well, actual people living in Japan, they comment on this stuff and end up talking about how absurd the Twitter police are. For example, on March 3rd, we had these girls right here commenting on a similar topic from a similar tweet back on February 22nd that got 1 million views and over 25,000 likes, excuse me. I was actually thinking about talking about that in its own separate video, and I still might because I don't want to bury the lead at the very end of this one, so we'll wrap this one up here. I'll leave it there. Shouts out to all of you for tuning in. I don't care what your ethnicity is. I'm not a Twitter cop. I'm not going to ask what your race is. I'm not going to do that sort of thing. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. As always, I look forward to catching you there, and of course, in the next segment.